Project file structure and core resource change in E4. Welcome, my name is Serge Beauchamp and I work as software engineer for Freescale Semiconductor. This talk was presented at EclipseCon 2009, Tuesday, March 24th. In this talk I will compare projects with sculptures, because projects in IDE consist of an ordered unit of disordered elements. It consists of taking different files and directory and a subset of the file system hierarchy and putting them together in one coherent unit. A project file structure consists of building a logical hierarchy based on the physical hierarchy of the files on the file system. A project structure needs to be flexible, needs to be easy to build, and scalable with thousands of files and folders. So what does the project file structure looks like in Eclipse 3? A little bit like this. In Eclipse 3, it's very hard to prevent files to be visible under a directory. For practical purposes, the users won't use link resources. The project file structure cannot be fully logical, so the user cannot create virtual folders that are not present on the file system. Because of that, in Eclipse 3, the project file structure will be very simple and limited. We can first compare how the project file structure looks like in other C++ IDEs, such as Visual Studio. In Visual Studio, the project file structure is completely logical. The hierarchy relationship between the files and folders and subfolders does not exist on the file system. In Visual Studio, the folders they serve two functions. First, as a way of grouping and organizing in a hierarchy the files and directories, but also in Visual Studio the folders, they can be filters as well. So they can the user can set a list of file extension on each filter, and if the user adds a group of files at a top level directory of his project, the files will be automatically sorted in the different filters according to the file extension. And as we can see also, the files in the projects are defined as a relative path, relative to the project itself. Although it is possible in Visual Studio for the user to use macros such as vc install dir and to specify files that are relative to other thing than the project itself, but there's no support in the UI at all. With the CodeWarrior IDE, the project file structure is also completely logical. So the files and groups in the projects do not have the same hierarchy relationship on the file system. As we can see, each file, although its path can be edited directly by the user, is relative to an access path. And the access path list is defined in the project settings. The access paths are also used to resolve C and C++ headers. So there's a lot of settings that are not really relevant for resolving project file paths, but that are also present. Each access path can be either user or system, can be also recursive, and can be relative to the project, the compiler, system, or a source tree. Because project files cannot be defined precisely where they are located relative to an access path, and that because access path can be recursive or not, it can happen that two files under an access path will have the same name, and it's possible in such cases that the CodeWarrior project will have problem locating which file the user wants. Source trees can be defined in the project settings or as a global setting. Source trees can be relative to environment variables, register keys, or absolute paths. As I said earlier, because a single access path can contain two files of the same name under its hierarchy, Corollary uses the shielded folded list to be able to eliminate part of the access path hierarchy to be able to select the proper file. Although this mechanism doesn't work perfectly, it has been implemented partially to resolve this problem. So as we can see, in Visual Studio, the project file structure has portable link resources, has groups, and doesn't really have filters the way we understand it in Eclipse. Code has portable link resources, has groups, and that's it. And Eclipse 3, the only feature it has is really synchronized folders. Synchronized folders in Eclipse is the main mechanism to which project file structure is defined. So it's a folder that is both logical and physical, and with the refresh local, it populates the logical hierarchy with the physical content of the directory it points to. The project file structure changes in E4 consist of adding groups, portable link resources, and resource filters to the Eclipse file structure. A few words about compatibility. Keeping backward compatibility in Eclipse is very important for the core resource plugin because of the significant dependency that other plugins have on the workspace and resource API. If a plugin uses the existing Eclipse 3 core resource API, no changes will be required to support transparently all the additional features. So the user can create a project file structure which has group, portable link resources, and resource filters, and the existing plugins will automatically support those features without any API changes. Furthermore, the user can use a project that was created in E4, a project that uses groups, portable link resources, and resource filters, and move it back to an Eclipse 3 layout and keep most of the functionality of his projects. The groups will automatically be converted into directories in Eclipse 3, and obviously the portable link resources won't be portable anymore and likely be broken, and the resource filter will be ignored, but the bulk of the project file structure will be maintained. As we've seen before,